Carolynn, we are here today with Christina Cacioppo at the Y Combinator Founder Mode Retreat. Hi, Christina.
Hi, Christina.
Hello. I love doing these in person. It's fun talking face to face. Now, Christina, we have in the hopper, we have already taped your long form regular Social Radars interview that's going to be launching pretty soon, which was awesome.
Yes,
don't you think, Carolynn? But so today we're just really going to focus on talking about founder mode stuff and get your thoughts on it. But first, will you tell our listeners about Vanta?
Yeah, we help companies build out and demonstrate trust to their customers. So practically that looks like compliance certification, security questionnaires, trust centers, security programs.
I remember being super obsessed with all of this stuff when I was like, I never thought I'd be so interested in it. But it's the kind of thing that was very unsexy, yes. Right? That companies didn't really want to spend the time or money or energy, but they had to. So tell us a little bit how you got started on this.
Yeah, I've heard someone call these schlep businesses.
Schlep.
That's a good business to be in.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Which actually, I do think it's like Vanta sits at this intersection of your customers or your industry will make you go through various compliance certifications. And so it's necessary to like build the business. But it tends not to be what gets a lot of founders or folks out of bed in the morning.
Socks too, right?
Exactly.
Socks, okay.
Yes. And so you're kind of at this intersection of people have to do it, but they don't want to. And I think one of the really striking things is people were really appreciative about our early product, which was terrible. But they liked it so much more than they should have. Because again, it just did this thing they didn't want to do themselves.
You have to tell the story about Segment and the spreadsheets and stuff.
Yeah. So in the early days, no one had kind of built a product like this. And when you went and talked to people in the industry, they said you couldn't and we didn't know whether or not to believe them. And so decided to try to build an early version of the product without code, like in a spreadsheet for Segment, another YC company where we had some friends who were kind enough to let us sort of hang out in their office and interview their engineers and try to build this prototype. And I think they were both kind enough and they needed a SOC 2 and didn't know how to get it. Anyway, and so we spent 2 weeks in their office reading a bunch of SOC 2 reports and trying to standardize them and then interviewing their team and kind of making them a roadmap to here's how you would go do that. And that was like the very first version of the product. And then for the second version, we took that spreadsheet literally to another YC company front and sort of gave them Segment spreadsheet, but changed just a little bit to see if it worked for them. And that's how we tested if we could standardize what had previously been
and it did.
Kind of ad hoc process. And
right?
It mostly worked.
And were you super psyched when that happened?
Yeah, kind of. Because it was, you kind of didn't know whether it would work. You sort of like slide the sheet of spreadsheet, like slide the link across the table and be like, it's awesome, right? You know?
And now you're huge. Tell us how big you are.
Yeah.
You're huge. Come on.
It's a little, we are 12,000 customers. We have 1,000 people who work at Vanta around the world.
1,000 people?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That's so many
wild.
people. It's wild.
Yes.
And between now and when we taped for the Social Radars episode, you've raised around, or you announced around.
Yes, we announced around. We raised our Series D. Valuation was $4.15 billion.
Get out.
Oh, Christina.
That's
this
amazing.
Is so exciting. Yeah. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so you have gone from sliding that Excel spreadsheet across the table to raising your Series D.
Yeah.
Tell us things you've learned, how you've grown as a manager, and maybe what your experience with founder mode is. What does it mean to you?
For me, I think at the highest level, founder mode is almost a like permission to run the company the way you want to run it. And I think that's in part because the journey is very long. Even when things work, they're very hard. And so if you kind of don't enjoy it along the way, you just like, it will not work, or it will not work for many people, probably myself included. So you kind of have to like enjoy the journey or make the journey something you like jump out of bed for. And to me, founder mode, it's like you should figure that out to yourself and not do what, like Sandhill Road VCs tell you to do, which again, may or may not work, but if it doesn't work for you, it's like not going to work for your company.
Yeah. Did you ever have something that Sandhill Road people told you to do?
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Can you give us an example?
Yeah. Let me try to think of a good one. I mean, we for various reasons, I think we talked on the podcast, waited until we had $10 million of revenue to raise a Series A.
Yeah, I remember the story.
Yes.
And that was just weird. And I think not just weird, but folks interpreted it as like a lack of ambition. Or like, they don't want to build a venture-backed company, clearly.
They're a lifestyle company.
Yeah, exactly. They're a lifestyle company.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, no, I'm going to build a big one. Like,
So they
you
were
just
approaching you, and when you said, no, we're not raising
we're
now.
like too busy. We're set. Thank you.
Yes,
Yeah.
they'd say lifestyle business.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which I think, as you can imagine, I was like kind of annoyed. And then I was like, oh, you think that? Great. Well, I look forward to like talking to you in a bit.
Yes.
Like, just you wait.
Have you ever been tempted to delegate to managers, not just because like you know this is a marathon, you've said it, you're in it for the long haul, that's a marathon, you've been around for a long time now, but like if you delegate, maybe your life gets a little bit easier. So like, how do you fight that on a day-to-day basis?
That's a good question. I mean, I've definitely delegated stuff that worked and didn't, and that I shouldn't have. Okay, so the trope is like pick your battles, but I think the version of that is like, I don't know, the founder, at least I am like kind of always annoyed when stuff doesn't work.
Yeah.
But where am I going to be really annoyed, I guess? And like, where will I be sort of annoyed, but then kind of understand and like can kind of move on? And trying to know myself well enough and reflect on places there to figure out, kind of what am I like, won't be like totally okay with it slipping, but I can live with slipping versus like, I will just be like upset at myself for having delegated that thing.
Yeah. So it's just all about like like you said, it's picking your battles.
Yeah.
This is a marathon. I have to delegate some things, but I know myself well enough to know which ones I need to stay in founder mode for.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like the concept of trusting your gut has come up.
Yeah.
Everyone has
Yes.
their own take on founder mode, but they all sort of say trust your gut.
Right.
Is there a story that you have where you felt something deeply and followed through on that despite other people?
Yeah, and I can also give you the reverse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do both.
Yeah. The reverse was actually we lost like a very early and excellent engineer who's gone off and has and will continue to have an incredible career. And we lost him because we put a manager over him and like kind of knew, or in some ways when I heard that plan, I knew it wouldn't work.
Whose plan was it to put a manager over this person?
Their
Without
manager
naming
was going to put
names.
someone in between.
In between.
And there's, like
Okay.
you can, there's a, Andy Grove would have told you to do this, right? Like it wasn't crazy at all.
Okay.
And I heard it and was like, oh, shoot, that's not going to go well. I should do something about it. And then it was kind of like, and there's 17 other things and I'm a headless chicken. And then, kind of the day we told this person, they took an interview and like ended up leaving.
Wow.
Oh.
In a very kind and friendly and professional way, but it's just
But
actually something you
predictable.
could tell. Like to this day, I still am like, I am an idiot. And I knew that was going to go badly and I did not do anything about it. And like, I do think Vanta's, incrementally worse for that having happened years ago. Totally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like you're still a little bit obsessed with it.
Yeah. And I mean, to be clear, like I'm angry at myself, but like, yeah, totally. I should have got that.
Yeah.
100%.
What about the reverse? Obviously, the $10 million, we know that's a great one.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah, and I think both from a business outcome and I think actually it helped at the time, again, the company kind of have more confidence in a way because it's like we're doing well because we think we're doing well. It's not like we're doing well because fancy VC says we're doing well.
Right.
Or like that's a nice bonus, but like not, I don't know, that can come and go.
Right.
I think the other one, or I guess another one is like launching additional products before the first one is done. Even in the vein of the first one's never done, but for Vanta, we sometimes talk about it as we didn't start to be a SOC 2 factory, and kind of purposely pedantically calling it a SOC 2 factory. And we didn't think a SOC 2 factory would be a good business. Turns out it's actually a very good business. But still, that's like not the plot. And so underlying that is I think like maybe a professional manager would be like, no, it's actually a good business. Like, and there's like lots of room on market and like just keep going and investing and like just do the thing. But we kind of always thought like that's not why we're in this. That's not why we've recruited people. Again, like maybe good business, good financial outcome, but like not the game here. And so invested more consciously and larger and earlier on and just trying to get additional products working. because we didn't want to be known for just that one thing.
Being a sock factory.
Exactly.
Sock 2 factory.
Yeah.
Sock factory is a
Factory.
totally different business.
Sock factory, like, I don't know. It sounds,
I keep thinking about the story you just told about how you felt in your gut like you shouldn't put the manager over that person.
Yeah.
You were too busy. I feel like if I look back on my career at Y Combinator, most of the biggest mistakes that I feel regretful about were, I think, because I was too busy.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, I have other things to fight. And you just get distracted and you move on. And then all of a sudden it turns into this big problem. Is there any advice you have about balancing sort of being a founder who has a million things to do, listening to your gut and acting upon it even when you're too busy?
I mean, if I think about what I was kind of too busy doing, some of it was like calendar blocks of my time, but actually mostly it wasn't. It was like emotional energy, right? And I was spending a lot of time in a part of the team that, I mean, wasn't working, but like wasn't working in a way where it felt like we were like all in the boat together. We were, across the shores, like kind of pointing at each other. And that was just like very draining for everyone involved. But I kind of look back on that and I think it's like, okay, well, when you feel like you're in the boat pointing at each other, not in the same boat, fix that real quick, because that is so draining, like emotionally draining. And then you don't have the fortitude for like the other stuff. I don't know if that's helpful, but that's kind of, it's like less of a calendar, you have calendar problems. Those are easy to solve. It's the like, no, I just need to lay down for a moment, please. Or like, I'm done thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Has your sense of like trusting your gut changed as you've grown to 1,000 people, as you've done this for more years, raised more money?
I think so. And I think it's like, hopefully it's getting better. But I think I'm more attuned to whether you're right, or when you're right and you trust your gut, great. When you're wrong and you trust your gut, hopefully you learn and like your gut gets better.
Yeah.
If you're right and you didn't trust your gut, you did the thing you didn't want to do, I don't know, that is just like, again, I get really angry at myself then. And like, that is, I just kind of want to avoid that state, I think. And so it's almost like a version to that will lead me to like trust my gut more, if that makes sense. Right? Where you're like, I might be wrong, but at least I will like then learn from it.
Yeah.
Versus I'll just be like wrong and bitter, just like not helpful to anyone.
You don't want to be wrong and bitter.
Wrong and bitter is just like not good.
Well, this was awesome. Yeah. I can't wait for this to air. And if anyone has found this interesting, they're going to be so psyched to hear your full Vanta journey, because it was such a great episode. And it should come out pretty soon, too.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Christina. Bye.